Let's quickly talk about the $250,000 NIHFCU business credit card. This card requires a minimum FICO score of 550. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome 250K Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you are to ask me, if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about a $250,000 NIHFCU business credit card. That is so fantastic. And the card is actually on the screen right now. This is just wonderful. And this is a card that is designed for the self-employed or owners of small businesses or medical practices, okay? And this card actually, by the way, folks, NIHFCU stands for National Institutes of Health Federal Credit Union. And the card has no annual fee. This is a Visa business credit card. You also have a 0% intro APR for 15 months on purchases and balance transfers. Then you have to pay a variable APR of 12.49% to 17.49%, depending upon your credit worthiness. This is fantastic. And with the card, you can earn 1 point for every dollar spent on net purchases. You can double the rewards for every net dollar spent category purchase, including medical equipment and supplies. By the way, you don't need to be in the medical sector to qualify for this card. And this is a credit union that covers the whole United States, even though they're based in Florida. Okay. And what we love with this card also is that you can redeem points for cash, travel, gift cards, merchandise, or you can donate to the NIH charities. This is a great charity also, by the way. We love the fact that this card also has a low foreign transaction fee, and they have advanced security features, including the Visa Zero Liability, the 24/7 fraud monitoring, and card alerts. So long story short, one thing I want you to think about right off the bat is that the purchase APR oscillates from 12.50 to 17.50%. Balance transfer APR 12.50 to 17.50% variable. The credit score range 650 to 850, but you can actually qualify for this card if you have a 550 credit score with a multi-product relationship with NIHFCU. I'll talk about that later on, the MPR. There's no annual fee, and EIN only application is possible depending on how you structure the application. You need to have an operational history of 3 months. Big decision time. Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. Are you a startup? Do you have a very young business? You can qualify. Okay, don't worry about it. In terms of revenue, they want you to have a minimum of $100,000 per year gross income. And if you are a startup, you can actually use projected sales data. If you have any question, you can call a specialist at 301-348-2071. Let's talk about key details here. So I just want to give you more details about the card. It's a card that is just fantastic. We're speaking about the NIH business credit card. And I was speaking to you earlier about the 0% APR balance transfer intro rate. Okay. And this applies to balance transfers for up to 15 months. This is really good. Think about it. And this is actually longer than the average 0% APR period of 12 months. You have a 0% APR on new purchases. New card holders receive an intro 0% APR rate on new purchases for up to 15 months. Folks, we're not speaking here about 1 year. We're speaking about 1 year and 3 months. This is just wonderful. Okay. And the APR, wonderful. The APR is very competitive. 12.49% to 17.49%. This is really good. And in terms of if you are one of those guys like me who don't like annual fees, you'll be very happy with this NIHFCU credit card, Visa credit card. It is a great option for people looking for a low maintenance rewards card. It gives you rewards on your purchases, but you don't have to pay an annual fee for the privilege. You have a 2% balance transfer fee though, folks. It's very important. So for example, a balance of $1,000 could cost you $20 in transfer fee. The minimum fee is $10, okay? And another thing that you need to think about is that they do charge, this card charges foreign transaction fees. So please don't use this card when traveling abroad because it charges a commission of 1% every time you make a transaction outside the United States. Okay, so this is good. And bad, fair, or better credit is required. Poor credit is also welcome. You will have good approval odds if your credit score is above 650. But again, you can still qualify if you have an MPR with the bank. And one thing I need to say also is that there are a couple of other fees that you need to be aware of. The card is great in terms of I would say APR, but they do have a constellation of fees that you need to be very careful about if you don't want to just end up paying fees and fees and fees and fees. For example, they have a late payment penalty of up to $25. They have a return payment fee of up to $25. There is no over limit fee, okay? And so great card overall. Just don't travel abroad, don't use it abroad, okay? And just make your payments on time. Let's talk about the pros and cons here, folks. Let's talk about the pros and cons of this wonderful NIH business credit cards. Let me ask you a big question, big decision time. Are you currently a member of NIHFCU? Are you a business member or are you an individual member? If you are, either way, you want to pay attention to the pros and cons here. What are the pros? This card carries lower than average purchase APRs. You have a 0% APR balance transfer intro rate on balance transfers for up to 15 months. 0% APR on new purchases during the first 15 months. No annual fee. Cardholders can earn rewards on purchases everywhere NIH Federal Credit Union Visa Business Rewards Card is accepted. An NIH Federal Credit Union Visa Business Card reports to multiple credit bureaus, okay, including Equifax, Experian, Dun & Bradstreet, and SBFE. So that's for the pros. What about the cons? They don't offer a sign-up bonus. The card does not offer a sign-up bonus. They do charge a foreign transaction fee of 1%, and they charge a 2% balance transfer fee. Another thing you need to be mindful of is that the business credit card offers a rewards programs to its customers, and if you got to use the card to make all types of purchases. There's no restriction in terms of the purchase category you need to be in. And we also love the fact that the card is pretty flexible. Now, one thing we didn't really like when we were doing the research here, the card does not offer a cash sign-up bonus, nor do they offer a cash loyalty bonus. So if you are a client who sort of prioritize this kind of bonuses, then you might want to look elsewhere. But overall, folks, again, for us, the most important thing here is that this is a card that allows you to actually actually plan your business, to plan your budget. And the card has a pretty generous credit limit. Think about it, $250,000, $250,000. That's the maximum limit, and you can actually plan your business around it. The card has a constellation of tools that allow you to know how much you're spending, to monitor your spending, to be, I would say, a better manager of your liquidity. Let's talk about now the benefits, folks. The thing here is you can actually get this card with EIN only. Not a problem. Okay, you can apply for this business credit card with your EIN number, but expect the credit card issuer, NIHFCU, to also require your social security number. And the thing here is that if you want to structure this application on an EIN only basis, you need to do it without the online process. In other words, you need to pick up the phone and speak to someone. You need to go to a branch if you are lucky to have a branch, an NIHFCU branch in the vicinity. You need to sit with someone. And what we love with this card is that you're able to actually apply with EIN only and get approved fast. As long as you provide all the documentation they need, you should be okay. Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. Are you interested when you're looking for a business credit card? What kind of benefits are you looking for? Talk to me. Are you looking for fraud liability protection? Are you looking for a credit card that reports to the major credit bureaus? Because if that's the case, then this NIHFCU fits the bill. They actually do all this kind of stuff, okay? They will they report to Equifax, Experian, TransUnion on the personal side, and Dun & Bradstreet on the business side, okay? And if you apply on an EIN only basis, they will report also to the SBFE. One thing that's important to remember here is that if you want to be approved for this card on an EIN only basis, you might have to provide a business plan. You might have to provide your financial statements. And I'm speaking here about the full set of financial statements, not just the 4 statements, but also the disclosures, the note to the notes to the financial statements. So as you can understand, according to the US GAAP, you have 4 financial statements, right? A balance sheet, income statements, statement of cash flows, and statement of stockholders' equity. In addition to those 4 financial statements, you also need to have notes to the financial statements. This is the 5th element if you want to do things based on US GAAP. And NIHFCU, they love that. If you can actually have a business plan, financial statements, and projected data, they will love your application. It's all about demonstrating liquidity. It's all about demonstrating that you will have enough cash to repay whatever balance you might have to carry on this card. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation today about the $250,000 NIHFCU business credit card. And one thing I want to say here is that there is an extra perk that comes with this card. Based on our analysis, there is a huge extra perk. Why? Can you believe that you could simultaneously qualify for both the NIHFCU business credit card and business line of credit? That's just wonderful. Think about it. Let me ask you a question. Big decision time here. Are you currently looking for a credit card, a business credit card, or are you looking for funding through a working capital line of credit? Those two are not the same thing, but they do actually help, I would say, address liquidity situations in a small business operations. Okay, because with the NIHFCU business line of credit, I mean, they also call it working capital line of credit, you can actually access funds to help with cash flow management, covering payroll and the purchasing of supplies or equipment for your business. And their business line of credit offer loan amounts from $100,000 to $350,000. You have fixed and variable rate options. You never pay any prepayment penalty. There is no annual repayment requirements. Okay, so these are things you need to think about here. You can see that the maximum limit on the line of credit is higher. $350,000 is higher than the maximum limit on the credit card, which is a $250,000. Okay, and one thing that you also need to understand here is that you can use the money for nearly everything, nearly anything. You can purchase or refinance real estate. You can help manage cash flow. You can grow or start your business. You can purchase equipment. And for us, what we really love here is that you have this notion of concurrent credit. In other words, you could simultaneously qualify for both the NIHFCU business credit card and business line of credit, as I said earlier. So this is just great. Of course, NIHFCU has to make sure that they are covering their ass too, right? So basically, that in terms of risk mitigation, they're not taking too much exposure when granting you the loan or a line of credit or a credit card that you are asking for. Okay, so but again, if you have any question, you can contact the specialist at 301-296-2534, and you can speak to a lending specialist or request a complimentary no obligation consultation. Let me talk to you now about NIHFCU membership. Obviously, we are speaking about a business credit card, right? This is a business credit card, but we're speaking about a credit union business credit card. So you got to be a member of the credit union. So let's quickly go through the application process to become a credit union, a business credit union member at NIHFCU. So they want you to show your first name, your last name, your email, your phone number. You have to put your preferred contact method. You need to put, you need to specify whether or not you currently have a personal membership at the NIHFCU. You don't have it. It's not mandatory to have a personal membership, but you need to have a business membership in order to qualify for the business credit card at NIHFCU. You have to put your business name, the year it was established, the type of business it is, in other words, the sector, and the URL, the business website. Then you need to also talk about if there's anything else you want to tell NIHFCU, say it. They want you to also talk about the annual revenue of your business in US dollar. And once you do that, just click submit. That's it. So I would just want to repeat that personal membership is necessary for business membership. However, you can go straight to the business membership if you are not interested in the personal membership. You just need to call someone and speak with them in advance. Okay, call a specialist at NIHFCU. I want you to look on the screen right now. Membership eligibility at the NIHFCU. Anybody qualifies. Anybody. There are 4 ways to qualify. You can have a National Institute of Health affiliation. Your affiliation with one of their member organization. For example, they have the NIHFCU at Work Partners. Your family relation with a current NIHFCU member, or if you don't have none of the above, they will open a free membership for you to the American Consumer Council. Okay, so you can see on the screen, this is a great organization. So don't worry, they are available. They cover the whole United States, not a problem. So once you have that, you need to have a business checking account, as you can see on the screen here. So they have the NIHFCU's Carefree business checking accounts and Total Care business checking accounts. And then so it's important to have one of those too. So because this is when they're going to take the money. Once they give you the loan, you need to set up auto debit. Okay, it's very important. Now let's go through the application, folks. Here I'm still having a conversation with you about the NIHFCU $250,000 business credit cards. So how do you apply for this credit card? I want you to look on the screen right now, folks, here. So we have, here is a form. So you have to put your legal business name, put your the name. You want to put the name of the name you want to appear on the card. Remember, there is a limit of 24 characters, okay? If you have a DBA, you want to mention that. You want to put the address, the physical address, the mailing address, which can be a PO box, but the physical address cannot be a PO box. They want to see exactly where the business is located. Your tax ID number, this is your EIN. Remember, I was telling you can actually apply for this card on an EIN only basis, and the type of sector you are in, the type of business it is, goods or services, how many years you've been at the location where you are, the year you were established. You want to put the state of registration where you were formed, the number of employees, okay, the company's website, email address, if there is a phone number, all of this you have to specify. You also have to talk about what kind of a business it is from a legal perspective: LLC, S Corp, C Corp, partnership, sole proprietorship. Remember, you cannot have an EIN only business application for this credit card if you are a sole proprietorship. And you want to talk about your gross annual sales, your net income for last year. They will verify all those things anyway if they ask you for your business tax returns or your financial statements. They also want to have your average monthly balance. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. Quick question. What is your anticipated monthly credit card spend? Talk to me. How much do you currently spend on credit card? On expenses from credit cards. In other words, if they were to give you this credit card, how much would you use it? How much would you spend on it? The reason is that the maximum limit is $250,000. They need to know exactly how much you're spending to be able to give you an initial limit. Okay. On the next slides here, they're asking you for your contact information. Put the contact name, the title, the phone number, and in some cases you might have a guarantor. But if you do it right, you don't need to provide any guarantee here, personal guarantee. But this is something you need to, this depends on a case-by-case basis, and you're going to have to call NIHFCU, okay? And once you do that, you need to sign, okay, the applicant signature. You need to date it, and you can either mail it to them or fax it. Do not email it, okay? Remember that if you need assistance or you have any question, you can always call NIHFCU at 301-296-2539. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about the $250,000 NIH business credit card, and I give you the card details, the key details, the pros and cons, the benefits, the extra perk. That I spoke to you a little bit about NIH membership and the application process. Thank you so much for your attention. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.